Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard stars Ryan Reynolds, Samuel L. Jackson, and Selma Hayek, as well as Antonio Banderas and Morgan Freeman. And after the great surprise of the first movie and how fun that was, with a little bit of Salma Hayek thrown into the mix, this can only be a little fun, right? Right? It could be fun, right? Michael Bryce decides to take a sabbatical holiday in order to wind down from his years of bodyguarding, but thanks to a rude interruption from Sonia Kincaid, he goes out to save his arch nemesis Darius Kincaid, and thanks to their rescue mission, they get drawn into a massive plot to destroy Europe, and they have to, you guessed it, save the world. Now, the Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard is something that I wasn't too excited going in, but because I had a lot of fun with the first one and how the first one was basically a huge surprise, despite that Ryan Reynolds and Samuel L. Jackson were just playing themselves. I was looking forward to this one because I remember watching the first one and Salma Hayek's character Sonia. I really enjoyed her for the small amount she was in that first movie, so I was looking forward to seeing a lot more of her in this one. I honestly thought it could have been a lot of fun, but unfortunately, this film falls into the big pitfall of just crude humor. Now, Salma Hayek is the best element of this movie. I think because we didn't see much of her in that original movie, she is a lot of fun to watch in this. I think one of my favorite moments has to be when someone's making a comment on her age, and the chaos that ensues after that is absolutely glorious to see. But Samuel L. Jackson and Ryan Reynolds, well, they I don't know if it's because we've seen this before. I don't know if it's because we've seen the whole movie of them two bouncing off each other, but it's very much a lot more the same. I would say this is an hour and a half of Ryan Reynolds just looking dead inside. Every scene he is in, he's just got this 1,000 yard stare. While I did laugh quite a bit at a lot of the jokes in this, I will say that I am definitely a little bit immature when it comes to humor. Unfortunately, I was able to see past the humor and see this wasn't really a great film going into it. The action set pieces are very weak and very poor, and apart from a couple of slapsticky moments, there's nothing really to write home about in regards to the action. There's actually a couple of very bad CGI moments in order to replace a certain individual who, in no way, shape, or form, could actually do what the character is doing in real life. So they have to replace it with either a stunt double or digital body double, and it really doesn't work. There's this FBI agent who's just there to be this renegade detective that brings them together to make them try and help save the world. This film has a lot of elements that makes it feel like, you know, them old parodies you would sometimes see on YouTube where someone would parody every movie of a certain genre ever. This is like an every action movie ever parody, but it plays itself serious enough that it just feels flat and soulless. Like I say, I did laugh a fair bit, but a lot of the crude humor is just sort of like you sort of laugh as a coping mechanism for it. Because there were just some really questionable things about this. I absolutely adore Salma Hayek, but she has been in some quite trashy films this year. And considering two of her big moments in this is she has a little rant about her boobs at one point and how Michael Bryce is obsessed with them, and you're just wondering what the hell is going on there. Everyone and their mums gets a backstory in this. Like one or two backstories is okay, but I feel like there's a good 4 or 5 backstory moments that really don't work. That FBI agent I mentioned earlier, his whole skit is calling a Scottish agent by very stereotypical Scottish insults. For example, just saying, "Oh, all right, William Wallace." That's a thing that he says quite often. I did have some fun with this, and if what you're going into this for is a fun movie with some very crude and crass humor, and you genuinely find that to be the funniest kind of comedy in the world, then you will, by all means, you will 100% enjoy this. I enjoyed some of the comedy. I think one of my best bits has to be involving a few nuns overhearing the conversation between Ryan Reynolds and Salma Hayek, but other bits of the humor just don't really fly. While I do like all 3 actors involved, It feels very phoned in, some of these performances. It has them fun moments, it has that fun dynamic, but because we've seen it all before in the first one, and I feel like the buddy dynamic of Ryan Reynolds and Samuel L. Jackson was done a lot better in the first one. It just doesn't feel the same in this one. Samuel L. Jackson very much decides to take a back seat in this for the majority of the movie. And just the way these two characters come together all the time, like there's a backstory sequence that connects them again, and it just really isn't needed. I don't know how we got to this point. At the end of the first one, they seem perfectly alright with each other. And the start of this one, certainly Michael Bryce is traumatized by just the pure thought of Kincaid, which doesn't really work. If you want a fun action movie, I'd say go watch Nobody instead of this one. But if y'all just here to see crude humor and you just want to see Samuel Jackson and Ryan Reynolds being themselves and Selma Hayek just being this angry Mexican woman, then go nuts. You have fun with this, but this is genuinely not a very good movie. Has some fun moments, has some fun dynamics, and has some comedy that does make me laugh, but sort of like in a shock way, and shock comedy can only get you so far. It's definitely not worth a rewatch in my books. Before I get into my grade, if you do like what I do on this channel, and you like what you see so far, consider clicking that like button and subscribing to the channel for more reviews like this coming all the time. But without further ado, let's put my stamp on this, shall we? So yeah, Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard has a lot of the same dynamic from the first one. Thought with a bit more Salma Hayek thrown into this one. Should be a lot of fun. Antonio Banderas is fine. Morgan Freeman, I don't know what the hell he's doing in this. I know he said he just wants to take everything on now because he's old and he's got his place in cinema history for life now. But Jesus Christ, Morgan, this was a low point for yourself, mate. I'm going to have to say that the Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard for me is a lukewarm cup of tea. So the Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, have you seen it? If you have, let me know what you thought down in the comments below. What is your favourite buddy cop duo in all of cinema history? Do let me know those in the comments below, but keep it respectful and wholesome. And until next time, everybody, my name is Josh. I've been your Movie Apprentice, and I'll see you in the next video.